Hey, it's Whitney from EcoVeganGal.com, and welcome back to EVG Venture, the channel where I share the lessons I've learned as an online entrepreneur and the success strategies I've picked up along the way of my own journey. And today I want to talk about confidence. Confidence is something I'm deeply passionate about. In fact, I've been passionate about confidence and getting through insecurity since I was a teenager. For whatever reason, this is something that I've really zoned in on. And I didn't really realize how much it was going to attribute to my personal success. And recently, probably within the past year, I've noticed that my growing kind of obsession with it and wanting to talk a lot about it to teach other people how they can learn to become more confident, because it really does impact you, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're running your own business. Your confidence truly affects whether or not people want to buy things from you, whether or not people want to follow you on social media, whether people perceive you as an authority, as somebody who's professional, someone who's successful. There's just so much at play there. And one of the big things about confidence is your body language and the way that you talk. So let's start with body language. I might leave the talking aspect of this for another video because that's a whole nother aspect, kind of the words that you say, the way that you say it. We should definitely get into that at another point. But starting with your body posture. There's actually a really wonderful TED Talk out that I'll link to down below in the YouTube description field about how your body language, how you hold yourself, can actually affect your success rate. There were studies done showing people with different postures and how they walked into a room and how that affected their success. It's really, really fascinating. But I really find this simply when you're at an event or you run into somebody, you're having any sort of in-person communication, or when you're doing things online, namely on YouTube. Those are the two places I really pick up on this. So think about, for instance, or next time you go to an event, maybe if you can't kind of visualize this, think about how you perceive other people in a room before you even meet them. When you're standing in a crowded room, look around and see how people are holding themselves. There's something about that posture that really conveys so much. And this sounds kind of obvious, but sometimes it's not something that we translate to ourselves, right? We might notice that somebody that's really confident stands kind of with their shoulders back, their chest kind of out a little bit like this, their head is held high, right? And then somebody who doesn't look that confident tends to be more slouched. They look a little bit small. So it's something about being smaller versus taller or bigger, right? And many of us successfully, we want to be bigger, we want to grow up versus go down or be small. Small is often equated with not having enough, whereas big is having plenty. So when you really think about it that way, you want to hold yourself in a way that you want to be perceived by others, but also in a way that represents what you're aiming for. That's an energy there. When you walk into a room and your shoulders are back and you walk forward with this confidence and you don't care what other people think, or you do care what people think and you want them to think that you're an amazing person, that's there. But when you are nervous, uncomfortable, if you don't want people to notice you, you might kind of shrink down to hide yourself. And some people do this without even noticing it. So I challenge you to really pay attention to your body language wherever you go. Even if you're just going to the grocery store, just try walking in there. It doesn't have to be a big, obvious thing. It can be very, very subtle, right? There's a subtle difference between this, or when, like a lot of people just walk like this unconsciously, versus this. Doesn't have to be this, but it could be just right here. And notice if it affects the way people interact with you at all. People will start to notice you more, and that can be nerve-wracking. So then you have to start feeling really comfortable with people noticing you. If you want to be successful, you need to attract a lot of people to yourself, and you'll see that people start paying attention to you. Even in the grocery store, people might notice you more, come over to you, ask you if you need help. Maybe when you run into a friend or something, there's like this different energy of the conversation. It's a more welcoming when you stand this way. And on that note, with your body language, it's also super helpful to have an intention for it, to think in your head how you want to be perceived. And actually, this is true too if you don't want people to pay attention to you for whatever reason. Let's say you're going to the grocery store and you want to be left alone. You can change your body language, and that's a subtle indicator to people to leave you alone. But when it comes to your business, do you really want to be left alone? And if you do want to be left alone, that's something really important to think about, right? So this might seem a bit of an obvious thing, but I really want you to examine yourself on a regular basis. Give yourself a whole week, every single day. You might even want to journal it. Write down your body posture, or set a reminder in your calendar to remind you to focus on your body posture. One thing that really helps me on an ongoing basis is going to yoga. We focus so much on alignment. Same thing with Pilates too. So sometimes incorporating a regular exercise practice that focuses on alignment will help make sure that you have good posture. It's really good for your health too, which is super important, but that's a whole nother topic. I just want you to focus in on it and see if it makes any difference. You might want to even experiment with how you hold your body, and sometimes go to an event and maybe purposely kind of slouch down, and then go to another event and purposely bring yourself up and see if that helps, right? On another note, there's eye contact. So having really good eye contact with people versus looking away. That is something that I can't stand in a conversation. So I've made a massive point just really recently, probably the past few months, to make direct eye contact with people for as long as possible, if not the entire conversation. Even when it gets a little bit uncomfortable, I find that if I keep eye contact with people, it actually becomes more comfortable. And paying attention, it keeps you in the moment in the conversation. This is especially important at events where there's a lot going on. There's people all around. It's very tempting to look around. But if you retain eye contact with somebody, everything else kind of fades away and you can really focus in on the conversation. And when you do that, that makes that person feel really important and valuable to you. And when you make people feel that way, then you become valuable to them. They take you more seriously. They like you more. You build a more long-lasting relationship with people. It's really fascinating. The more that I've focused on eye contact, the more I've realized how many people don't do that much eye contact. But that's not what you want to worry about, right? Your aim is not to necessarily keep their eye contact, because some people have a nervous habit out of it. But actually, you can learn a lot about people on their eye contact. Sometimes if somebody keeps looking away from me, I'll just wrap up the conversation and move on. And that sometimes to me is an indicator that that person doesn't really either care about me, isn't really that interested, and thus I might not want to have that person in my life and thus do business with them, right? So this can work both ways. You are helping secure that person in your life, but you can also determine if you want another person in your life based on something as simple as their eye contact. And coming back around to body posture in general, I think the same is true. Do you want to be associated with or work with a person that's always slunched down and kind of looks like they're uncomfortable, or they don't want to be there, or they're insecure? Or would you rather be associated with somebody who's very proud, and not like a boastful, like I'm better than you type of a way, but just like a, hey, like I'm really confident and I really respect myself and I'm very secure with myself? I think in most cases, you'd rather someone like that. And wouldn't you rather have someone in your life who's like really paying attention to you? Notice these things. Next time you go to any sort of social gathering, next time you run into somebody, whether it's at the grocery store or wherever else you're doing errands, notice all of those simple things, practice them, and then implement them. And coming back, I mentioned YouTube earlier. Try the same thing on YouTube. Notice how I've been retaining eye contact with you the whole time. How does that make you feel? There are times in my videos where I would kind of like look around and look off, and I would look back at my videos and think, why am I not retaining eye contact with the camera the whole time? That's kind of like camera presence 101, but notice if you tend to look off screen a lot and then try to focus right in on it. It's especially important if you're using a mobile device like the iPhone. Make sure that you look right at the camera right here. Sometimes people look in the wrong direction and it's very distracting, I think. But also notice your body posture when you're on camera. You can sit up straight in your chair, you put both feet on the ground, keep your hands in your lap, whatever it takes to keep your body nice and angled. It really keeps you stay attentive and it also helps a lot. But combine that with a comfort level too, right? I don't want to see somebody talking like this the whole time. I personally like it when someone's kind of in the middle, so I am a little more slouched, and then someone that uses their hands, moves towards the camera a lot. That's very engaging. Just keeps their body flowing. Not too much. You don't want to be like this all the time. I like to do a little bit of this and then put my hands back down, try different things. But try not to like repeat the same gestures and all of that. It definitely makes a difference. So just practice it. You can record videos and then throw them in the trash. Look at yourself and see how you feel about them. And then put your videos out when you're ready as a test, and then see if it makes a difference in the engagement level and in the comment level, right? So a lot of people say, wow, you seem so relatable. You're so confident. You're so knowledgeable about this. I feel like I know you. I feel like you're a friend. That's what you really want to go after. And so much of that is in your eye contact and your body language. All right, well, that is my tip for you. I would love to hear from you now. After you experiment with this a little bit, or if you've experimented with this in the past, what results have you received from it? And also, when you notice other people, keep track of how that makes you feel, and then share in the comments, what do you observe in others? Are there any people that you admire? You could do this online too. You can go online and watch anybody that you really enjoy watching and how they hold themselves, and then visualize that in your mind next time you're somewhere. So if you want to share who that person is and what you love about their eye contact and their posture and how they move their whole body and how that inspires you, what that makes you feel, go ahead and do that in the comments. I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video inspiring, educational, give it a thumbs up. If you're brand new to this channel, please subscribe. I'll be doing a lot of new videos about online business and all these little subtle tricks you can implement in your life to become more successful. I have lots more information at whitneylauritsen.com and ecovegangal.com. If you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, you will be in touch with me for anything business related. It's just the newsletter for the business side of things. So if you want to learn more tips like these videos, if you want to know about the courses and the ebooks that I have coming out, all the information about online entrepreneurship, I've got it there for you. So sign up right down below in the description field below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.